The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit givestarquest.com. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. And joining me today on the panel are Joanne Mercier. Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Dom.
And Pat Scott. Hey, Pat.
Hi, friends.
It is ladies' night once again. I always love this.
Yes, it is.
When we get to
Well,
have
Dom,
you both.
get your wig on.
Hello. I always love when we get to have you both on at the same time. And it's also, Joanne, for you and me, it's one of our favorite times of the year, or two favorite times of the year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We get to discuss the latest Apple news, and Pat is joining us for this, so we're really happy to have you with us to talk about all the latest Apple stuff. The WWDC was this past week, and they made their announcements for their new software. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, we've had some feedback from a listener, Ben H., wrote on our Discord. He was writing in about our last episode where we talked about browser hardening and how to make your browsing more secure and safer. And so Ben writes, this was a great informative episode, great advice on measuring how much privacy versus security, or privacy and security protection you need or want, depending on how much convenience you feel you can give up. I lean more towards more protection versus convenience myself, but different people will have different needs. Many online privacy communities can be pretty obnoxious for gatekeeping and or an all or nothing approach, and can also easily let the perfect become the enemy of the good through ditching or refusing to recommend very useful tools over the slightest of flaws. They end up trusting no one and nothing. And then Ben went on to list a whole bunch of great tools that he uses, and folks want to see that. You should definitely go to our Discord community and look for the Secrets of Technology channel and see all of Ben's recommendations there. They were really great. But Ben, you're so right. A lot of times you run into either the run wild and free crowd, no safety nets, or you run to the folks who are like, if it's not locked down, like I'm wearing a hoodie in a basement somewhere in the dark, I'm not safe. And frankly, most of us are somewhere in between where we belong. So thank you, Ben. So that's our feedback. Let's start talking about WWDC from Apple, and they've announced all of their upcoming Apple software improvements that are coming this year. About
maybe
yes, sometime.
We're gonna. They basically had three different sections, and so we'll cover them in three different groups. But I want to cover the big one first. They had it last, and the big one is Apple Intelligence, and I subtitle this: "Is it really it this time?" And because they first announced their big Apple Intelligence push 2 years ago at WWDC and were unable to deliver it. So this time, is it for real? And so I want to start off with your overall impressions of the presentation, of the whole thing even. How did it feel to you? Did it get you excited, or was it ho-hum? What do you think of the announcements, Joanne?
Well, first of all, it was nice to finally see the crack marketing team
Yes.
in their VW bus.
Yes. I thought they were going to call
nice to see them.
Mac OS 27 Yellow Submarine. I thought was
thought, but I was surprised because they were talking about it was going to be about bear. It was going to be a bear or something, but it ended up being Mac OS Mac OS Golden Gate.
Yes. We're getting
well, I guess Frisco is the hippie community.
Right.
Yes. But it's interesting that they picked such a treasure as the Golden Gate. It isn't celebrating an anniversary, is it this year?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
They just picked it.
Yeah. Like they've been going after big California landmarks for the most recent decade or so.
And that's probably the biggest one people Other than the
think
redwoods,
California.
that's probably the biggest one that people would know.
Well,
but
it's the only natural. I mean, it's the only man-made one, isn't it?
So far.
So far, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, but overall, it was a normal Apple fare. However, I would have liked to have, this is just personally, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Tim Cook saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Because it was his last one, and I thought maybe they'd do something a little bit bigger, or
Give him
maybe
a gold
Craig,
Apple Watch.
whatever, just something. Yeah. But I guess he's not like Craig Federighi, where he's really cheeky.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tim is that way. But Tim needs to be commended for the 15 years he's been at the helm.
He's done a good job.
Yeah, he really has.
That company has been way more successful under Tim Cook than even under Steve Jobs, right? It's just
it was flashier under Jobs,
right?
Right, But just even the way he ended it with it was very understated. He didn't talk about himself like a lot of guys would talk about their accomplishment. He focused on the accomplishment of the developers and all of these great people and I mean that's these things are calculated in the but I think it also a little bit expresses the personality and. I've always found that my impression of Tim was that he was pretty self-effacing, so that good for him, and I really appreciate all that he's done. I mean, he's given all of us a lot good. I mean, Apple isn't perfect. Nothing made in this world will be, but I really appreciate all the good things that Apple's done.
But they gave us the standard, here's what we're going to be doing. Here's what developers should be doing.
Yep.
They were trying not to talk about certain products they don't want to talk about yet till they release them in September.
Yeah.
But it was obvious we were talking about form factors we know nothing about yet.
Yeah. If you ever have a device that, say, might expand from this size to that size.
Maybe.
Just imagine.
Right. Yeah. But if they've got to come through this time with the Siri stuff, because this is 2 years and a class action suit later, and they really need to come through with it now, and I think they're going to. I think this is going to be the time.
You could see they were being very careful this time.
Very careful.
I want to get more detail on that as we go in. Pat, do you have an overall impression of the announcements and what we saw?
I have to say that I was an absent student. I read all the summaries.
Okay.
Went to all the places that talked about, but I didn't watch it. No.
Okay. So, I mean, what interests me about this is the way they structured this. They always in the past have structured it by going through each different operating system. They start with the Watch OS and then they go to, Mac OS and Vision OS and, they walk their way through the product line. This was thematic, very different, and I feel like it's evidence of the fact that this is a tweaking, fixing, improving year. There was plenty in Tahoe that needs to be, apart from the whole AI Siri thing, there was plenty in Tahoe where there were bugs you run into and weirdness, and like even on my iPhone, I still have that thing where I can't, I know the app's on the phone. I can go to the app launcher screen and get it. But if I pull down and search for it, it doesn't show up. Like there's a handful of apps. Venmo, Bank of America. They're all financial ones. Kind of interesting. I wonder if that's related.
But you got a bug on you got a high hacker on your phone, Dom.
That must be what it is. But it drives me crazy. It's like, I got to go to the thing they do to send the payment to the karate instructor. I can't just pull down and get Venmo. It just drives me crazy. But so there's like all these little annoyances that I hope is what we're getting fixed, in addition to all the other stuff. So it really felt like there was more focus on that sort of thing. And a lot of the reaction I've been seeing, like from Wall Street especially, is like, oh yeah, it wasn't flashy enough. It wasn't exciting enough. I'm sorry. I didn't really want flashy. I want solid this year.
So they weren't impressed with the Craig Federighi bobblehead or the, cone incense on the dashboard?
Yeah.
Seriously?
That's a little flash.
So let's talk about... Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say I like the idea of doing it thematically because that kind of says the whole concept rather than saying, okay, this is in here, this is in there.
Right.
It sounds it's much more cohesive.
Yes.
Right, and it reinforces to some people's chagrin the walled garden.
Right.
Where everything works in concert with each other.
Everything works together. Right. That's the big thing is all of these features are in all of the different products. And that's what the way
to a lesser or higher degree, depending upon the age of the models, et cetera.
Right.
That's going to be a key this time.
So one of the things that came up, let me get to that before there's a point about that I want to get to, but I want to talk about the first thing, which is they do mention Apple Foundation models. That's the AI speak for the brains of the AI. Those are built on Google Gemini. We've known that already. They mention it. They say it. That's a very significant. They said it in the keynote. That's a big deal. It's designed to, I think, give us confidence because Google Gemini is good. It's a good product. It does what it says on the tin. And, that gives us hope that Apple's models will also do what's on the tin. They did emphasize that we're going to have on-device and private cloud compute. That's something they gave us 2 years ago. Our data is never stored in the cloud. But it does have access to all of the context in your device, right? So it knows what's in your email. It knows what's, in your contacts, all that sort of stuff, in your notes, all your apps that use the programming frameworks to make that stuff available. It's all in your device. Now, that's a good thing. That means it's private. It means it's not going up to Claude servers or to Google servers or to ChatGPT servers. It's staying in your device or, when necessary, going to private cloud compute where it then disappears. That doesn't get saved. One of the things about the on-device thing that came up after the keynote is there will be varying levels of ability or the varying quality levels or power ability of models, and the best models will only work on for Macs M4 or later, and for phones for last year's iPhone 17, which I got, which luckily, or after. So if you have older devices, you'll get models, you'll get the new Siri and all that, but it won't be as good as the latest models.
Yeah, I want to see how annoying this is going to be for me.
Yeah.
Because of the 4 major devices I have, 2 of them, my phone and my M1 MacBook Pro, are not going to get the same models as my M4 Mac Mini and my M5 iPad. Is this going to be annoying?
Right.
As I move from device to device.
And for those people who have a classic iPad, they're not going to get it either.
At all.
Right. You got to have an M, one of the modern iPads. I forget exactly where they made the line on the iPads, but like I have an M2 Mac Studio. It'll get a model. It'll get new Siri. It will not have all the capabilities on device. Like there are a lot of questions still. Like, what does that mean? Then it will just have to go to the cloud to get the private cloud compute to get that ability. And there's lots of questions that are going to need to get answered over the summer and into the fall.
One of the questions I have, and I don't know if somebody's answered it, is I noticed one of the screens gave you a choice to toggle between AI chatbots. So it had Claude, it had ChatGPT, and it had one other. I think it was Perplexity.
Yeah.
Is that going to be included in all models? Only the upper models?
I would
or a side thing within the AI.
Yeah. Or was that a rogue screen?
Yeah. Right now you can have you have that. Even like today, you can do the toggle between private cloud compute and ChatGPT.
Right.
And I assume that's also going to be available in iOS 27 and the OS 27s. In that you'll just have your choice of model or
that's what
LLM.
I want.
So I that's my assumption, which is great because I use those tools, ChatGPT and Claude specifically, a lot. So I'm happy to have access to those. And but that won't be connected to the Siri AI. Like the Siri AI's brain
it's going to be Gemini only.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's that foundation model, the Apple foundation model. So it's kind of how it all works and where the dividing lines is. Again, that's still unclear. And once people start getting the betas installed, we'll start to see perhaps. I don't think even all of these things are in the current developer betas. So it'll be a bit before we start to see it. So there is a new Siri app that's a dedicated app. It has a chatbot style to it. You can speak to it, but you can also type, which is nice. I noticed when they were demonstrating it on screen, every demonstration was real time. There was no compression of the lag time. You saw there was a lot of uncomfortable silence as they waited for the responses, because they have to be very careful not to overpromise this time. They needed to show us exactly how it was working. So, but what I saw was good. But the impression I get though, or the thought that came to me is they're showing us things that we were doing on other stuff 2 years ago.
Right.
I want to see, like, they're behind still, at least from what we saw this week.
But what impresses me, at least, I don't know if this is going to jump around any, but what they showed was the use of the dynamic island.
Yes.
Now, this is great because everybody, like my husband looks at me and says, so what is this thing? I never see anything. What does it do? But if Siri now, instead of being the big, I could never understand pushing a button or saying something and having this aura. And it's like, so what?
Yeah.
Halo. It's a halo basically. And then it annoys me when it says, when I ask it a question and it says, if I can give you more information if you open up your iPhone. And I'm like,
well, I could have done that.
The first could have done that before.
Yeah. Or I could ask ChatGPT for you.
Yeah. Or
right.
Yeah. Or I'll take you to the web for some answers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But if it now shows up on the dynamic island and you can pinch it to go further,
right, to make it wider,
game changer,
and persistent context in conversations. You can revisit your old conversations and continue them, and then you can have natural conversations like continue. Like they showed a demonstration of like booking concert tickets, and he could ask continuing questions about the concert and the venue and the artist without having to repeat what they are. It just knew. And
yeah, kind of like I've got Perplexities using my history, and so it doesn't have to go ask me all these things again.
Exactly. It's a persistent personal context.
Right.
I have to say, what Apple has done with the dynamic island may be the smartest use of or way to take what was a negative and turning into a positive. I mean, the dynamic island was a brilliant use of that little bar of space that you couldn't get rid of. And frankly, even if they could now do like a behind the screen camera and sensors stuff like other phones do, I don't think I'd want to get rid of the dynamic island. I think it's a brilliant interface.
No, I think it's here now. I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, I think so. So couple of interesting bits of the AI technology that we got to see. There's now writes with Siri. So this is different from the writing tools that nobody I know ever used. That we have today, but it learns your communication styles with specific people. So the way you talk to your spouse is probably different than the way you talk to your boss. And God help you if you have it compose a letter to your boss or an email to your boss, and it signs it, "Hey, sweetie."
Ooh, no,
awkward. Yeah, awkward.
Very much.
But so it learns your communication styles with different people, more formal, more informal, all that sort of thing. So that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, it improves on what we have today for autocorrect and that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh please.
One thing I thought was really interesting: the Passwords app has this new feature, and I hope 1Password takes this as inspiration. It can automatically go to your websites and change insecure passwords on your behalf.
Because it can log in with your user ID password.
Exactly. Right. And it basically it's an agent. It's agentic action. And so it does it for you. Oh, you have an insecure password? So nice. And because you don't need to know what your password is because it's secure and it's taking care of that, it just does it for you. And it could even automatically update it every so often for you. I think that's amazing. Like the day we don't have to worry about passwords and just let the machine take care of it. So that one was cool. There's some photo stuff like spatial reframe, which I thought was a clever idea. I don't know how often I'll use it, but this idea where if you take photos that have 3D depth information, it can use a generative AI and you can change the viewpoint of the camera, basically go up, down, left, right, around. You can see what's behind them, although you really can't, but you can fill in what it imagines. And it can also do like other kinds of realistic fill where like I've seen people talk about they want to use a photograph as a lock screen on their phone, but the way it's shaped, like if you used it there, like the people in it would be behind the time and would block the time, and it's like, or in front of, or the time would block their face. So you can, create more trees above them or more sky above them, that sort of thing. So, we could do this in Photoshop today, but it's nice to have it on your phone. Another agentic thing that they showed was Safari has this new Notify Me thing where it can monitor a web page for a specific item. So we've talked about Camel, which is this thing that will monitor products on Amazon for you and tell you when the price drops. Well, you could conceivably do this for anything on the internet. Monitor this, and when it changes, and it doesn't have to be prices, it could be anything. Let me know.
Yeah, there's a new episode dropped of SQPN.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Or this could be great for people looking for a job. They can put the job they're looking for, and it can notify you when new ones come up.
Right. Like, because like Indeed and those ones can already kind of do that for you. But this is an agent working for you as opposed to you having to rely on the website.
Exactly.
Shortcuts have improved. That's kind of interesting. The natural language. And so I've been experimenting with something called Shortcuts Playground, which someone developed, which is similar. It's a plugin for Claude code, and you just describe what you want it to do, and it will create a shortcut for you that does it, which is really cool. I made a shortcut that way. I needed something that reminded me that every time, whenever I got in my car, so I ever get my car and I want to remember when you go in the car, make sure that you drop this off at the post office, but I always forget when I get in the car, I drive off. I'm like, I forgot to go to the post office. So I made a reminder. So when my phone connects to the car, you audibly remind me out loud, you need to stop at the post office. And so I created a shortcut that did that, but I used this Shortcuts Playground. So I described it, what I wanted it to do. That's what this is going to be part of the operating system now for everybody.
I need this because shortcuts drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to make it the way it is now. I mean, it's easier than programming, but it's still
awkward.
You have to have a programming mind to do it. Mm-hmm. Whereas the thing that makes me wonder though is with things like Claude Code and ChatGPT's Codex, are we going to even need things like shortcuts anymore? Like I build programs as it is today. I built an app yesterday for my Mac that monitors all the SQPN feeds and lets me know if any of them go down.
I think Pat will agree with me on this. People need shortcuts because they just want to do specific things.
Yeah.
They're not looking to
create an app,
create a whole app around anything. I'm sure some of your clients, Pat, would want to do one thing. And
right now, shortcuts is not what they want to get into and try to figure out.
Right.
No, because it is difficult.
Yeah.
But it could create a button on the screen that does this one thing that they needed to do, like call somebody.
Yeah. Or when you get to the grocery store, go ahead and remind me to bring in my bags.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. That the sort of the absent-minded reminding me things. Yeah, that's what I am. So that looks interesting. Also, the Home app has gotten some improvements. They're going to be able to do 4K video now with HomeKit secure cameras. They were stuck at 1080 for the longest time, which is one of the reasons why I ended up buying Eufy cameras for my house recently, which are not HomeKit compatible and really kind of annoys me. But the Eufy cameras are 4K, and I just wanted the higher resolution. So this is nice. But what they demonstrated was this ability with the HomeKit secure video that the AI can decide like this is the same person going through all of the different past all the different cameras. It can follow someone through it from the, track them on the different cameras and create a whole clip, and then can tell you, hey, it recognizes people. It's the mailman. He dropped a package on the porch, or,
it's your brother Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie came. He went around back. He dropped off the thing for the grill, and then left. It can tell you, describe what happens in the clips. You don't have to search them. So that was really an interesting idea. Image generation was another one. So we've had Image Playground, which frankly terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have realistic image generation, which can be very useful for things. I use image generation for certain podcast episode covers that when I sometimes need something conceptual as opposed to, a very specific thing. Last week's episode on browser hardening, I had to generate an image of someone locking a door because we used that metaphor of, the locking your front door. But image generation now they will be able to do realistic, photorealistic image generation, but there will be limits. There'll be usage caps on how much you can use these per day, but you will get more if you have iCloud Plus subscriptions. So if you're giving them some money, you'll get more from them. That's the way that is. One of the big things I heard from people is just that it's not going to be available in the EU and in China and some other places too. I think Australia, a couple others. And I think it's because those countries and regions, they are starting to pass laws that say that if you have to give the same third party level access as you do for all of your own things. So so if Apple gets deep personal context access to all of your information on your phone, well, you got to allow Claude and DeepMind in China and all the others to be able to dig through all your stuff too.
The whole privacy problem,
and that's you giving up all the privacy. Yeah, so Apple's saying we're not going to do it.
Yeah, I wonder how long that's going to last with people in the EU.
Europeans I've heard from are pretty mad at their own people about this, because they're like, the way Apple's doing is precisely the protection of privacy that we want.
Mm-hmm. Not your method.
right. What they're doing is the anti-privacy. So, anything else you wanted to say about the AI announcements that have skipped over or covered?
If it all comes to fruition, I'll be happy. But what is this? And I heard this. It's still going to be beta in the fall. So yes, it'll be. They said it'll come out in beta in the fall. So to me, that says it's not coming. It's not going to be for the general public when the OS 27s hit. It'll come probably sometime after that. And I think they want to promise. Like they made the mistake of promising before. They're not going to promise anything. My guess is it'll be mostly functional when it comes out in beta, and it'll be in beta for a long time, but it will be usable.
Check it out.
Yeah,
right.
It gives them the beta designation gives them an out if something goes wrong.
And it doesn't get shoved out to everybody with possible drawbacks. Yeah,
right. You're going to have to ask for it, so it doesn't just end up on everybody's phone at once, and you get the people who don't know what this is and they misuse it. It confuses them and they get into a bad spot with it. This way, people have to ask to have it put on their phone, and I think it's a smarter way, a more cautious way of rolling it out.
Opt-in is always much better.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the scale Apple operates at, 1 billion phones at a time, I mean, you just can't dump it all on everyone at once.
I'm for the public betas, so I'll be jumping on public beta next month.
Yeah.
But my poor husband will be like, I don't want to know anything about that until you figure it out.
Right.
My iPad will go on the public beta. I have a second Mac that will go on the public beta, but my phone will not. That maybe a late beta, like August.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And my usual advice is don't do developer betas, period. Don't do it. That's always a bad idea for anyone unless you are absolutely already a developer. Don't do the first, but my advice is don't do the first public beta, wait till the second public beta. Then you could start to move some things. Don't do your watch, and be very careful about doing your phone. The reason I say don't do your watch is because you can't go back on a watch. If you need to go back, you have to take it to an Apple store. So that's my usual advice. So let's move on to the other of the three. I call it the three pillars. The second pillar that they announced was child safety changes, or trusted safety is how they put it. But it's mainly centered around child safety. And this, I think, is a response to a lot of the laws that have been passed in various states and in certain countries. There's definitely a law coming in I think a federal law in the U.S. coming surrounding age restrictions. And what this is doing is saying that Apple's saying we're going to be the custodian of the age, that developers, software will have to come to the OS and say, is this person eligible? That way we don't have to give up information to every app that comes along, that the app can just say, are they or aren't they, instead of getting personal information on the user. So I like that. So they frame this around the American Academy of Pediatrics Family Media Plan. So they're really saying that they're basing it on science. They had their health chief, the head of their health, Apple Health, do the announcement. So they're really tying it to that. And I have to say, screen time and the parental controls until today, I've always said people at Apple clearly don't use this for their own families, because this sucks. It's terrible. Like the interface was obtuse. It just didn't, it was hard to understand what the controls did and which controls you needed to use. And when you have 5 kids, it gets even worse. The more kids you have. And, the kids find ways around it. I want to see if they've closed the Google Docs loophole. One of my very smart and enterprising children discovered that in Google Docs, you can open up a web browser from Google Docs.
Just like they did on the Kindle?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, that was the other one, was using the Kindle browser. Oh, my children.
Well,
so
they're being trained for a new world.
They're very smart. It's like an arms race with them. Anyway, what they're doing now is they have this new child accounts that they're specifically set up there. It's a guided setup with, and this is the best part, a recommended settings that comes with the default recommended settings that you can then, as a parent, change the dials. And I love that, because a lot of parents are going to be like, I don't know what the setting should be. How should I set it up? This way it will come with a set of settings that are recommended by the pediatricians, and you can adjust it. And I think that's the better path. Couple of things that they're adding. They've always had this ask to download apps. If they want to get a new app from the App Store, they press a button, ask to approve. Both parents get a message, if you set it up this way. But like my wife and I both, we get an iMessage, hey, so-and-so's trying to download this app. Do you approve? And then you can approve it, and then the download starts. Well, now they've added ask to browse. So kids can ask to go to new websites. So the way you had to do it in the past was you can't go to the internet. You can't use a browser. Like, it was either all or nothing. I mean, you could block certain kinds of websites and that sort of thing. But, if you give them a web browser, they're going to go to everything. This way, they can go to the web browser, and then they have to ask, can I open up this particular website? And that's so much better.
It may be a lot of back and forth on them, though, when they go from one website that wants to go to another website that wants to go to another website. That'll be a pain.
And when they first start using it, there'll be a lot of asking permissions, but I'm guessing you'll be able to give a blank, like, yes, they can always go to Wikipedia.
Certain domain.
Yeah. Certain domain. So that will be, the school's website. You can always go to that, and then they won't have to ask anymore. So that's good. They'll have a new contact approval process where before they can add someone new as a contact, they have to ask permission. There'll be a new scheduling feature, which looks really interesting. So you can have different rules for school hours versus after school versus weekends. so that they can, at school they can use certain apps and certain websites, but at home they have other ones they can use, and on the weekends they get more freedom to play games, that sort of thing. So that's good. The time allowances, oh man, I hope this works better, because the way the time allowances work now, they're really convoluted and difficult to manage. So I'm hoping that this will be an improvement. I have to see it before I can judge it. They talked about communication safety, like it already blurs nudity in messages in FaceTime or nudity in other stuff. Now it will also block gore and violent content, which is good because, kids, they share the darndest things.
There's more of that out there sometimes that they can get a hold of rather than nudity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it looks good. I'm hopeful. Again, remains to be seen, but I hope that this is a step in the right direction, that the parents who work at Apple are the ones leading the drive on this to improve it, because it's needed it.
Now, my question is there I think I heard them say you get to adjust it to the age of the child.
Yes.
And by age, are we talking chronological or ability, or, are you going to be able to do that?
I think it defaults. So you put in their chronological age.
Right.
And there are certain defaults, and then you can adjust it from there.
Okay.
So if you have a 13-year-old who's more trustworthy and more mature, you can adjust from there. Or if you have a 17-year-old who can't be trusted, you can adjust in the other direction. So not that I'm saying anything about my own children. I'm just saying,
you're just picking a number.
Right. Exactly.
So, so it's good. So I think it's good to start lockdown and free things up, as opposed to start free and having to close the doors, so to speak. Open the doors as you can, or as you need to. So I think this is an improved approach. The implementation remains to be seen. And then they called it platform improvements, which is basically other the category, everything else. They had the funniest apology for liquid glass that I've ever heard. It was the way they framed, we love to innovate. We've created the most innovative interface, but we've received your feedback and we want to innovate more by turning the dial back.
Giving you a chance to adjust the dial.
Right.
Exactly. We've given you a slider.
That's good.
Yes. So they are. I didn't have a problem with liquid glass for myself. It was fine, but I know people have, and there are genuine issues having to do with like the grab handles on the rounded corners are weird and some other stuff like that. And I'm sure if I took the time, I could probably see, oh yeah, that is kind of annoying. And I just kind of.
Well, I have a lot of older clients whose vision is having problems, and contrast is a big deal. And when it bleeds into the background, it's hard for them to read stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
So this will be good.
Yeah. I mean, I turned off the menu bar transparency like the first thing when I installed Tahoe, because it was just like, oh no, I need that menu bar needs to have a background.
It has more definition now.
Yeah, I can actually see the stuff on the menu bar. So that's good.
Yeah, I played with liquid glass depending on the device.
Yeah.
So the iPad has a different range of setting than my Mac Mini will.
Yeah.
Just because I'm dealing with different screens. But the phone, we're keeping that normal.
Right.
Because you have to look at it and it's small, and for my eyes, it's like, I need to see what I need to see now.
The funny thing is that the liquid glass, I think, was really designed first for the phone, and they brought it to everything else.
Right.
Yeah. But the people who used to be there, who are no longer there, who designed it, I think were more concerned with it looks cool than it works well, and that was the problem. So, so that's good. They're not completely turning it off, which is fine. I mean, you got to have, it's got to be cool because it's Apple, but at least they're giving us some options. The big thing is they talked quite a bit, comparatively about optimization, smoother animations, CPU scheduler optimization, which is a thing I never thought I'd hear at an Apple keynote. Apps preloading, faster photo loading in photos, which is I'm looking forward to. I was like they mentioned the smarter Wi-Fi to cellular handoff. This is something I run into every time I get in my car. I get in my car.
All of a sudden, you are trying to do something and it can't find anything.
Yeah, I'm driving down the street, listening to the podcast or the radio, and the music, and suddenly, it loses the Wi-Fi signal and then grabs the cellular. It's like, my kids always say, "Oh, the space aliens are messing with us again." Yep, that's those darn space aliens. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be smarter. The one thing that was interesting is iOS 27 will go on to iPhones back to the iPhone 11.
Yeah,
which is crazy how far back that is.
They just won't have all the Siri things depending upon which model it is.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm also wondering, those phones have less
RAM?
Not so much RAM.
Processor.
But even hard disk, space.
Disk space, yeah.
And they're saying this is going to be a 12
gigabyte?
12 gigabyte already to start with. So if you've got 64 gig, you have 10 million photos, and you're going to try to load iOS 27 on it. This may not work for you.
Right. You're going to have a bigger, older phone.
Right.
But it's good that, if you're rocking an iPhone 11 still, God bless you. That battery you must have replaced that battery at some point. But those phones are old. It's good that they're not forcing people to upgrade. One thing that's interesting is the Mac OS is going to drop Intel support entirely. If you haven't upgraded to Silicon, which has been 6 years, you're not getting a new OS this year.
No, you're not. Yeah. And I'm already getting those little messages that say, this app is not going to work on future OS systems. Please talk to the, developer.
Yeah.
Steam, which is the app, store, I'm getting it whenever that launches. So they need to get on the ball.
I'm getting HP and Logi. Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, I just bought let's get a future pick of the week. I just bought a Logi mouse, so that it still works. So that's something to keep in mind if you haven't updated your hardware lately.
Yeah, and I don't tend to upgrade my laptops near as often as I do my phone, so it's like I've got to look and see, do I have anything that'll even run them?
Yeah.
Although, I probably don't.
The new MacBook Neos, they're pretty affordable.
I know. Yeah, but yeah.
Yep.
I kind of wish they'd done what they did with the phone. Say, here, you can get iOS 27 on these older ones. It's just it won't have these features, and they'll be turned off, so you're always up to date.
I think the reason it's on they're doing it so far back on the phones is because it's the same CPU architecture all the way back to the iPhone 11.
Right.
The Intel is a completely different CPU architecture, and they don't want to build two separate. They want to stop building for two separate architectures, basically.
Yeah.
So it would be nice. It's only 6 years, but my guess is they'll still get security updates for a while and that sort of thing, but not forever. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully, some of the new features that may come out not related to AI may go into both versions of the operating system.
It would be nice.
That would be nice.
That would happen. Yeah.
Well, you can always turn your Intel, MacBook Pro into a Linux machine.
That's right.
Or a Chromebook.
Or a Chromebook. Yeah. It can happen. And they'll be pretty darn fast as doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for when the M1s you're not going to be able to, because I'll tell you, 6 years on a MacBook Pro, that thing is still humming.
The M1s are still good computers.
They're really good.
One of my heirs is a MacBook M1.
Yeah.
I'm real happy with it, and I don't need another one.
Yep.
And I had heard there was a real shortage of the Neos for a while. And that they were going to double production on it.
Yes, that was a big discussion. It was I saw something which said it was the most the most Macs they sold last quarter or this quarter were MacBook Neos. Like they outsold all other Macs.
And to people that had not been Macs before.
Right.
That was a biggie.
It's a great computer. And to think that it has the chip that was in my phone from 2 years ago or last year, whatever it was. Like they're using phone chips. That's how amazing these chips are.
But so if we're not going to support laptops unless they have an M4 chip, what does that do to the Neo?
That's a good question. I don't think that's been answered. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to have it.
Again, it won't have the most advanced models. It will have a model, a lesser capable model. And given that it's the low price Neo, I think they're weighing the trade-off. Like the people buying it at that level probably wouldn't need the power of the most advanced models.
Well, and which chip is in the Neo that's in the phone?
The A18.
So that's comparable to a 16?
Yes.
So if the 16 phone's not going to get the whole array either.
Right. It won't get the most advanced models.
Right. So you'll get this. It'll get what the 16 phone gets.
Yes, exactly.
Basically.
Yes, that's right. And the Apple TV.
Oh, that too? They didn't mention anything on.
Yeah. Although the Apple TV.
I saw something about TV.
They're getting a new podcast app, which will probably have video podcasting. That's
okay. That's good.
From my point of view. Important to know.
Well, and I saw some things about accessibility of auto-generating better captions and translations on the Apple TV, and that I would like a lot.
Yes.
And CarPlay is finally getting scrubbing.
Yes.
Do you know how annoying it is in CarPlay where I can't go ahead sometimes when if it rolls back too far, I can't go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a car that supports it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm not at CarPlay range yet. Soon, I hope.
Get it. It changes your life.
Yeah, you have to get a new vehicle.
Yeah, or you can aftermarket.
You can get a kit.
Things. Yes,
you probably not for my 2007.
If you have an aux jack, you might be able to.
I don't remember seeing one.
But yeah, so
I just use my phone.
Yeah, right. So the what was the other thing? CarPlay. Oh, I was just going to speculate that hardware, Apple TV hardware, they've got to do something because it can't do any of this. The current Apple TV. So there must be a new Apple TV soon. I just can't imagine.
I didn't wait.
Yeah. So anything that kind of we didn't really talk about Vision Pro.
Why?
Yeah. I mean,
is it still there?
It's still a product that they sell. I thought it was interesting that you can now finally build your own personal and spatial environment, which is kind of
cool.
That's a neat idea. Shared photo albums. So the shared photo library, you can now share photo albums with Android and Windows users if you have people like that you associate with.
I wonder if that has anything, is going to have an effect on the new glasses that might be coming out.
Right. In other words, that they could work with Android and Windows, the glasses. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting speculation. Yeah, possibly.
We weren't talking about that, though.
Yes. Unannounced products.
Yes.
So
I did notice something on the watch that they were going to give you a way to have the most frequently used apps show up in a grid together. Yeah. That would be nice. And then the consolidated Find My, so you don't have to go to Find My Friends, Find My Device, Find My whatever.
Right. That would be nice.
Yeah, it's all in one place. That would be good. Although for me, that's a very long list because I have a lot of Apple AirTags.
That's true.
And devices. But it is good to improve that interface. So any other thoughts on WWDC before we move on? Anything overall thoughts that you want to finish? We've already talked about whether we're installing the betas. Pat, are you going to install any betas on your
stuff?
If I
have a device that can do it, because I haven't been upgrading most of mine. My phone will work. I mean, that'll work. But I'm not sure that I've got an iPad that's new enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got two Mac Airs, and I don't know. I think one of them was 2024. I think that probably may work, but
right,
it may be an M3, not an M4.
which would still take the beta. You just won't have the highest level.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, and I don't need the highest level probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be glad to do those. I won't change out my phone right away though. But I did go to the new beta on the phone after Father Andrew said he did, and it was working great.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah.
We'll let him be the bellwether.
Yeah,
on
you're
that.
gonna let somebody go first, and then
cannon fodder.
And he's a father.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
True.
And he's a canon lawyer. So there you go.
And there you go.
So one thing that I kind of wish they announced that they didn't was MCP support for the AI. And MCP is an open standard that allows AIs to work with apps or websites. And I use those a lot. For instance, I use Claude to manage my calendar, to check my email, to look at my task management, and do all those things together. I mean, it does a lot for me. And having that in the walled garden would be really nice. I pay Claude, Anthropic, a good chunk of money every month to use their very fine product. Don't get me wrong. I really like it. It would be nice to be able to do that within the stuff I already own from Apple as part of that. So, but it may be coming, it's still early days, but that's one thing I kind of wish we'd heard positive news about.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So that's the Apple's big announcements. We should move on to our picks of the week. Before we do that, I want to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of technology, including Martin C., Vicky W., Rob L., Gerardo E., and Greg C. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue the secrets of technology and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com. So, Pat, why don't you go first with your picks of the week?
Well, here's a throwback to the past. People still get paper mail. And I have had several clients that did not realize that the post office can send them every day an email showing them what their mail to expect. And when you're waiting for a check or waiting for something coming in, that's real handy. So basically, it's called informed delivery, and you just have to go to the informed delivery website and sign up, and then you'll get an email. Yep. And that's really handy. It is kind of inconsistent that all of a sudden I won't be getting them anymore, and I have to go sign up again. And same thing with Randy. Occasionally, all of a sudden they're not coming in anymore. Yeah. So I have to go in and say, well, forward my mail to him.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it drops off periodically. Maybe because I was trying to subscribe to people in your home, household.
In one address. Yeah.
I had two different addresses, but
Kevin and I both have the informed delivery, and we haven't experienced that problem.
Yeah, I haven't had an issue, but maybe if your email bounces too much, that might also be.
It's just it'll be going along fine for both of us, and all of a sudden Randy says, "I'm not getting them anymore," and I'll go and all right, I'll resubscribe you again.
Oh, that's weird.
And that's odd, but I really like it because you can tell whether you've got a check that you need to make sure that somebody comes and picks up before it stays in there while you're on vacation.
Right, exactly. It's also handy when like it says something is going to be there and it isn't, and you're like, well, where did it go? And sometimes
usually
it's
the next day it shows up, but
or the next day, or that
your neighbor walks it back to you.
I'm always taking my neighbor his mail, and he's bringing me mine.
And it's very interesting to see how many Amazon products come through there.
Yes. See, and it does tell you your packages that are coming in.
It tells you packages
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it tells you about packages.
U.S. mail packages as opposed to Amazon delivery. But
but it'll show you where it's coming from, and a lot of that's how I noticed that Amazon is using the United States Postal Service more because it says it's coming from Amazon, and I'm like, so I know to get it in my mailbox rather than look for it at my front door.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm frustrated sometimes when I see that it's a UPS package coming that I didn't know was coming, and I have no idea where it's from, and I'm trying to look up the city that it came from and who has businesses in that city that I might have known.
Right. Sometimes the sender address is pretty obscure. I got a package today via the mail from the Sergeant at Arms of the U.S. Senate.
Oh, wow.
Dear.
That's very true. It was a flag, an American flag that flew over the Capitol that I ordered for my daughter as a gift for her Eagle Scout Court of Honor service.
Nice. Oh, nice.
So it's get a special certificate because it's the 250th anniversary for America, and so it's really cool. So I thought it was really neat. Sergeant at Arms, U.S. Senate.
Wow,
that's very official. Excellent. That's a good pick, and it's free, by the way. In case it's a government thing, so it's free. Joanne, what's your pick?
Well, way back in episode 230, Father Corey picked this particular pick, and I decided to resurrect it because if you work in the church right now and you do anything with bulletin editing, you're finding out that Publisher is sundowning September 1st.
Microsoft Publisher, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't change to something else, you will not be able to, number one, you won't be able to send it off to some of the publishers. And number two, you've got to get all of your publisher files turned into PDFs.
Yeah. So that they can be used in another program. Yeah.
So there's your public service announcement on Publisher. Now, what we decided to do rather than go and spend a lot of money with Adobe was go to Canva.com. Now, Canva does it does bulletins, but it also does a slew of other things. And I'm finding out that these young whippersnappers all know how to manipulate Canva.
Yeah.
I mean, they use them for mostly for social media. They do use them to make all kinds of posters, like for their weddings and bridal showers. And so I'm finding all this out, but LPI, which is one of the publishers of bulletins, they created 11 different templates.
Oh,
right. So if you don't want to move, you can take your normal bulletin right now out of Publisher and bring it in as a PDF to Canva, but it plays with it.
Yeah.
As any good OCR, thing will do. So if you don't want to do that, there are at least 11 different ones you can manipulate and put your information in, which I believe me, for the ladies who do our bulletin, that might be what they need.
Right.
Just to be able to manipulate that. But it's for Canva Pro for bulletins, for example, we are a nonprofit, so we got it through nonprofit status, and you can put 4 people or more on this in this bulletin group, and they can all work on it at the same time.
Ooh.
It's a real true collaboration.
Yeah.
It's almost like what we do with Pages and Keynote. So this is better than what we've been doing, which is where we have it in the cloud. And if one person has it open on their computer and another person has it open on theirs, now there's 2 copies.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Exactly.
And the template's it's a newsletter. Like you just, and they have 100 difference, and you just kind of modify it for your purposes, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. And
it also has Canva AI. So today, just to show the ladies, I said, okay, I want you to create a small bulletin, insert on the 4th of July. Didn't give it any other parameter. And it came up with this, very basic but very usable 4th of July image.
Interesting.
And they're like, you mean we can ask it to do and I said, all right, here's another one. Coupons. Create a coupon for the bulletin, name, amount, email address, phone. And it did it. So they're enthralled with the AI. But if you're looking for something that is easier than InDesign,
yes,
because InDesign is very powerful, looks like Publisher, but it's a stinker to manipulate and has a high learning curve.
Yes.
Canva is your best bet. If you're nonprofit, you can get it for free. If you're not nonprofit, get the Canva Pro. Spend the money because you get to use all the bells and whistles. Because I should have looked at that before I started.
That's okay.
But
we can put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a link to Canva.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm in there now, but plans and pricing. So it is the Pro It's $144 a year for one person. So,
right. It's well worth it.
$12 a month.
If you're doing a lot of content creating, it's well worth it.
Yeah. Teachers, schools get it for free.
Yep. We all get it for free.
What was I going to say? If you do go the InDesign route, LinkedIn Learning has some really good courses on learning how to do it. This is what I did a decade ago when I got handed a bulletin to do. I didn't want to run Publisher because I couldn't do it on my Mac. So I learned InDesign, created a template for the bulletin, and went from there. And it worked great. Really worked great. But this is be much simpler.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. Interesting. Excellent. So my pick this week is a feature that Apple introduced last year at their WWDC, which is iPhone mirroring. And I got to tell you, I don't use it all the time, but the feature that it gives you is the ability to bring up on your Mac's screen a window that's shaped like your iPhone, and you are basically in your iPhone using it from your Mac screen.
Almost like a remote control.
Yeah, it's like a remote control or screen sharing. Like if you do a screen sharing to another computer, this is a screen sharing to your iPhone. And it works really great, and especially if you need some bit of data that's in an app on your phone, and you don't want to walk across the room to grab it. And there are certain conditions the phone has to be in, it has to be locked, and it has to be, a certain thing, you have to have already logged in though, and then locked it. So sometimes you go to do it, and it's like, it's, you have to go unlock it, and at that point you might as well just look at the phone. But for the very specific purposes that it's good for, I would definitely say give it a try if you haven't yet. It's almost magical. It's that special sauce that Apple has where all the devices really work together, and you can even copy like files and information from one or the other. You can do Command C and copy stuff in and out. So if you haven't tried iPhone mirroring, give it a try and see how magical it is when you use it. It's really kind of amazing.
And even on the older devices, if you weren't using the iPhone mirroring, I loved it when they implemented the copy paste between devices, and it actually just worked.
Yeah, I do this. I have a headless Mac that I use as a server, so there's no monitor attached to it, and I screen share into it, and I can just I copy a password from my desktop Mac, and I just go into that screen and paste, and it's there. It's just, so awesome.
Oh, it is nice.
The things we used to have to do in order to do that simple task. Now
handwrite it on a piece of paper and
retype it laboriously on a tiny phone screen.
And get it wrong.
Yes, then have to retype it. So, excellent. So those are our picks of the week, and that's it for us this time. We'd love to know your feedback on any of the announcements from Apple at WWDC and anything you thought was interesting and your predictions and thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. So you can do that by sending an email to technology@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. You find links from our discussion and our picks of the week on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC348. And of course, you can find previous episodes at sqpn.com/technology. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Tech in Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite podcast app, or at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should make sure to hit the bell to get notifications of all of our new episodes. And of course, we really appreciate it if you write a review or share the podcast with somebody. Let somebody know about our show. Until next time, Pat Scott, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
It was good.
Joanne Mercier, thank you as well.
Thanks, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Television. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/TV.